I originally heard about Big Bell in the 60s, or it might have been about 8 or 9, and there was a show on the ABC called A Big Country, and there was a bloke living in here after it was abandoned, and he was saying it should be used to house homeless people. Even back then they had homeless people. Just over there was a set of steps that went up onto the second floor. As I said before, this building has become very dangerous, and this is possibly the last time I will come down through here. So this is one of the rooms off a corridor that we just went past, a much larger room. These ones are quite small, but it also had electric light, so you can see just on the wall about there, the power leads coming out. That's interesting, that one's quite dark. So that one's got a concrete floor in it. And this one, the wooden floor's gone. And of course the vandals had to come and scratch their names in it. Another slightly larger room. All this has been pulled down. Entering the bar. That was a bit scary. So once upon a time there were brown tiles all over this wall, and someone has come along and taken them all off. And this is where the bar used to be, run across here, and underneath was a cellar. And it's interesting that you can still read just up there, please return empty glasses, and I think it says number 3. And then just up there is the word number 4, or the number 4. And I've only just noticed that writing this trip, and there's a dado line sort of running across black one. This one says bottles here, so I don't know whether it's, I can't work it out. Across there is where the cool room used to be, and you can see that cork material once again. Steel beam or steel lintel that's there. Cork is still on that wall. There used to be a wall there when we first came along. And down through there is where they dropped all the kegs. Through this door here was another bar with a fireplace, and you can see just up there was a picture rail, and then there's a black line halfway down, and I have a photo that I'll try and put here that shows the bar staff behind the counter. Out here you can see that there's a triangular decorative part on the footpath with the brown tiles in it. And a bitumen footpath. and that's the front veranda with the pillars on it. There is a room here that once had a shelter over the top, but that's all fallen down, and the room inside was perhaps a storeroom or part of a storeroom, because it looks like there are notches in the wall for shelves and stuff like that. That's these types of things where a piece of wood has been laid with the brickwork. You can still see up in the where the cornice still exists in some parts. This was once an entryway. I'm not sure what's happened here. Something's come down. Someone's used it as a ladder. Just making sure it's not going to fall down, because this is some sort of servery or point where you talk to a person behind the door. And these beautiful arches. And this looks like some sort of lounge bar. And then not really sure what was in here or what it would have been used for, but there was a staircase that went up the wall and up on the second floor. Another large room in here with a fireplace. So the two doors up there would have gone out into onto a veranda that went around the outside. One would have taken you down those steps that were outside. And I suspect this was the dining room. You can still see evidence of how the ceiling was suspended from the beams that go across, and the steel I-beams that supported the roof or that floor. Another chimney here. And there is a really good example of the cornice that was up on the ceiling at one stage. Some of that wood looks to be in quite good nick. The reason I believe this is the dining room, and this is where the switches, light switches would have been. Yep, there's metal steel conduits in there. Through here is where I believe the kitchen was. Massive big stove there. And it's sort of interesting, the graffiti that's left behind. December 2000, Mark Taylor, Shane Warne and Dennis Lilly. Another large room here with shelves on that side, and it comes out into the courtyard. This is the wall I was mentioning that was falling down. The writing has finally faded from this, but it used to say ladies bar above there. And we've got a photo of my sister standing there when she was about 4 or 5, and again when she was a fair bit older than that with her daughter. Surprisingly, these Jarrah door frames are in really good nick up the top, and this is where the cool room was. and you can see the thickness of the cork. And there was a veranda that went from over there across here, and then over there is where the steps came down, and you can still see the mark on the wall where the wooden framing came down. Now a lot of these windows ended up being pulled out when the hotel was abandoned or sold off, and they went down to Horrocks Beach. But for some reason this one got left behind. Gee, really nice. Originally this area used to be an outside toilet, and you can still see where the dunnies were over there. Would have been a man's toilet because women didn't drink in those days apparently. Here is a bath area here. Once again, these Jarrah door frames are superb condition. And then when you look at the height of the ceilings, it's just impressive. See the outline of a bath and also sink over there. And this is where the bedrooms were. And this is that long bedroom that also has a door outside, or perhaps it was a corridor. Out the back are these very big fan motors and a dead birdie that were here for some reason. And you can see the water tower. Going through these into the kitchen again. A couple more rooms and another bathroom. Still got wooden floors. Another one with wooden floors. And then I believe these may have been staff quarters. Years ago all the rooms were intact. There is a boiler there with a vent that goes up in a chimney. There was something there at one stage because it's been painted around it, and then there's that wooden frame that's there. Not sure what that was. Door frames into here aren't terribly flash. Once again, all of these walls used to be intact. Definitely a storeroom there, and there was a power point that came down. You can sort of see where it was painted around, and there were sinks there, and that boiler is pretty clear over there. And I've watched this get knocked down brick by brick basically. And this section here, the whole wall has been pushed down in one lot. Another lot there. Old laundry tub, door frame on the ground. And that's Big Bell Hotel. It's arguably the last time I'll be coming into here. It is very, very dicey. And that's the back of the impressive old building. This was the first view I had of the Big Bell Hotel in 1969 when we drove in here about 10 o'clock at night time. It was lit by the candlelight headlights on a Valiant Regal. We got lost on the way here. It's only 30 k's, but we still managed that. What a beautiful old building.